The construction of the Site C Dam in Peace River, BC is a controversial clean energy project put forth by BC Hydro to meet future energy needs of the province and the country. Site C Hydroelectric Dam is the third of four major dams propositioned in the mid-1950s for the Peace River Valley in northeastern British Columbia. Between 1981 and 1983, the provincial government rejected the Site C Dam proposal following specific BC Utilities Commission hearings. It was conclusively decided that the province did not require the additional electricity. In the last decade, BC Hydro has been steadfastly speaking to the growing demand for electricity in this province. BC Hydro believes that the dam will provide roughly 1,100 megawatts of power, generating about 4,600 gigawatt hours of electricity each year. This equates to enough electricity to power more than 400,000 homes in the province. The BC government gave Site C the go-ahead in December 2014. Construction started on the project in the fall of 2015. Then BC Premier Christy Clark vowed to get the project past the point of no return before the May 2017 election. The BC NDP guaranteed that they would send the Site C Dam for an independent review by the BC Utilities Commission if elected. The NDP were sworn in as a new government of British Columbia in July 2017, and sticking to their words, the new government immediately sent the dam proposal for an expedited review by the BC Utilities Commission. Currently, with the cost of $8.8 billion and growing, the project would be the most expensive public project in BC history. Although it would provide enough energy to power the equivalent of 450,000 homes per year in BC, as well as provide close to 2,500 jobs, construction of Site C has seen substantial backlash from various groups. These groups include the NDP, the Green Party, First Nations, and local landowners. These groups are concerned that the project would flood 107 kilometers of Peace River, resulting in loss of agricultural land. The multi-billion price tag is also a deterrent. Although there are various groups opposing the construction of the Site C Dam, the NDP should move forward with the project as the province will see substantial benefits from the clean energy source, meeting the energy needs of the growing population. Additionally, with the significant cost of terminating the project coupled with the devastating job loss, there would be little value in preventing the project from continuing. Our team found that there are three key arguments in support of the completion of Site C: employment, the cost of termination of the project, and maintaining clean and renewable energy in the province. In terms of employment, upon completion of the Site C Dam, the project will have provided 33,000 person-years of employment. As of September 2017, there were 2,375 workers currently employed. Of the 2,375, 81% are from BC and 25% are from local Peace River residents. Second, the British Columbia Utilities Commission expects the termination costs of dismantling the project to be $1.8 billion. This does not include the costs that have been incurred up to this time. Some experts estimate a total cost of $4 billion. Lastly, jurisdictions around the world are scrambling to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in compliance of the Paris Accords. British Columbia is positioned well, as 97% of our current electrical system is clean and renewable energy. 80% is provided by hydroelectric facilities already established on two river systems, the Peace River and Columbia River. It is projected that BC will have a population increase of 40% within 20 years due to the economic growth and population increases. Construction of the Site C Dam allows for the most cost-effective clean energy source aside from nuclear, which has been banned in the province. Our team also identified three key arguments that oppose the completion of Site C. These include current hydroelectric infrastructure, Site C going over budget, and infringement on rights of Treaty 8. Upon completion of their Site C inquiry, the BC Utilities Commission found that BC already has the ability to generate close to the same power of the Site C Dam within its current hydroelectric infrastructure. However, the power that is being generated is currently being sold to the United States, meaning that if BC were to keep that power, the province would lose $150 million in revenue each year. Second, the BCUC also identified that the construction of the dam is on course to go over the $8.335 billion budget, and they project that completion costs will reach and could even exceed $10 billion. Lastly, there is speculation that the completion of Site C would infringe on the rights of First Nations that reside in the Treaty 8 jurisdiction, as the project poses negative economic and environmental impacts on these communities. Through deeper analysis, we have been able to identify that there would be significant economic and environmental implications if the construction of the dam were to be halted. The construction of the dam has supplied over 2,500 jobs, with 25% of the total workforce coming out of the Peace River region. Additionally, multiple sources have touched on the overwhelming cost of canceling the project at this point in time. It is difficult to reach the exact dollar amount, with the BC Utilities Commission stating a cost of $1.8 billion to terminate, while in an article, we found that Green Party leader Andrew Weaver said he began to feel the government moving towards supporting the project this week after a group of labor unions said the Utilities Commission report did not properly calculate the cost of stopping Site C. Weaver's stance is that the cancellation could reach $4 billion. However, we are able to determine that the cost of terminating the project is substantial, therefore giving merit to continued construction. It has been proven that BC's population is growing at a rate of 1 million people per year. The economy also has fluctuations, and the province will need to plan for the industrial demand for electricity. With that in mind, having a reliable, low-cost, clean energy source is the only solution. Hydroelectricity can also be stored for the future use as the demand grows or as temperature drastically rise and decline due to climate change. However, the limitations to this is that there are other sources the province could be generating its power from. There are also sources that state the demand for electricity has been stagnant for the last 10 years, meaning the next 10 years shouldn't look that different. Our team also identified that the speculation that the money spent to date on Site C would be considered a waste if the project is cancelled is not entirely true. The Peace River region was long due for upgrades and development, and due to the Site C, many areas of the region have seen these upgrades. These benefits include development of access to gravel quarries will reduce costs for future projects, telecommunications facility development provide long-term regional benefits, training and skill development of workers, including women and Indigenous people, are valuable and transferable. Viewpoint built at Site C can be further developed to attract tourists and travelers, showcases the rich historical and cultural values. Infrastructure such as fencing, temporary bridges, and raw materials can be repurposed for regional uses or sold. The opposing view suggests that there will be significant loss of agricultural land, which is due to the eventual flooding of over 107 kilometers. However, there is a lack of validity to the argument, as the use of the land is projected based on future climate change and has not yet been used for agricultural purposes. There are opportunities that exist around this issue. The government could potentially allocate funds toward relocation of any residents living or working the disputed lands, such as the 8 separate First Nations living within the community of Peace River and Fort St. John. Site C has been an ongoing debate for over half a century, and the prospect of relocating has been an ongoing discussion for over 30 years. Challenges that have arisen from our analysis mainly surround agricultural issues as well as the issue around Treaty 8. Over 6,469 hectares of farmland, an area larger than all the farmland in Richmond, will be destroyed by the Site C Dam. Furthermore, an additional 5,900 hectares of farmland falls within what BC Hydro calls a stability impact zone, which would be at risk of destruction. It would be the largest exclusion of land in the 40-year history of BC's agricultural land reserve. This is a challenge due to the fact of the number of farmers and agricultural business that would be in danger. For example, how would these individuals be compensated, and what effects would it have on British Columbia's food security? Professional Wendy Holm, past president of the BC Institute of Agrologists, noted that flooding agricultural land in the Peace River Valley is a bad idea because it is the only large tract of land for future horticultural expansion in the province. She notes that much of BC's produce is imported from California, and growing food locally would increase food security for the province. Also, flooding due to Site C Dam, some say, will impact and undermine Canada's international commitments to the Paris Agreement. According to David Suzuki, the farmland in question is essential to reduce BC's dependence on imported foods and minimizing the carbon fuels needed to transport those foods. He argues that it makes sense to grow food closer to where it is consumed. Another challenge is that Site C Dam encompasses an area that falls under Treaty Number 8, an agreement founded in 1899 between First Nations of Northern Alberta, Northwestern Saskatchewan, the southwest portion of the Northwest Territories, and the Queen of England. Treaty 8 covers approximately 840,000 square kilometers of land throughout northeastern British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the Northwest Territories. The Peace River Valley includes 65 square kilometers that will be flooded by the Site C Dam. Currently, there are 8 separate First Nations living within the community. Treaty rights include entitlements to sacred areas used for hunting, fishing, their cultural activities, as well as burial grounds. According to the Treaty 8 agreement, wherever a Treaty 8 member is in Treaty 8 territory, he or she has rights within the whole territory, not just his or her own traditional land. Regardless of the sanctified land, majority of First Nations believe damage from the Site C isn't justified because the power isn't needed. However, although the land would be compromised, there are over $100 million worth of commitments in terms of business opportunities with the First Nations communities. There are currently around 200 First Nations working on the site, and there are many who are going through courses and training in order to work in other parts of the camp. It has been important to the project to provide economic opportunities that can be used as transferable skills for the future as well. Our team has identified a key opportunity that could resolve the current tension between both sides. Building of the Site C Dam meets the needs of projected future population growth within BC, while increasing provincial revenues. This will lower the provincial deficit and increase GDP, all while contributing to a lower unemployment rate. When NDP runs for re-election, this can be a key platform stance for their campaign. In conclusion, Site C is a necessary project so that BC can be self-sufficient as a province, providing a clean energy supply and ensure that electricity is available when it is needed. Completion of the Site C Dam would also provide many jobs for workers building the dam and jobs afterwards during operations. Although there are many opposing factors, the benefits of completing the dam outweigh them as Canada has untapped resources that are available to improve the province and the country.